I know.
The Way Home has officially locked in a 4th season, and Hallmark fans couldn't be happier. Just ahead of the big Season 3 finale on March 7th, the network dropped the news that the time travel family drama is coming back for another round. Considering how much emotional weight and mystery this show carries, it's no surprise Hallmark didn't wait long to renew it. This series first premiered in January 2023, and right from the beginning, it stood out thanks to its blend of heartfelt storytelling and a supernatural twist. It centers around 3 generations of the Landry family: Dell, played by the iconic Andie MacDowell, her daughter Kat, and Kat's teenage daughter Alice. Their relationship has been rocky over the years, but the show dives deep into how they're trying to mend those emotional wounds. What adds an extra layer of intrigue? The magical family pond that lets them travel through time. Now, The Way Home is set to return in 2026 with Season 4, and fans are already buzzing about where the story might go next. Hallmark made the announcement with a fun little video on Instagram, and it wasn't just anyone delivering the news. It was Andie MacDowell herself, along with Kyler Lee. You could tell they were genuinely excited. Kyler even mentioned how thrilled she is to continue bringing fans more romance, family dynamics, time-hopping adventures, and mysteries. It really seems like the cast is just as invested in the show as its viewers are. So what does this renewal mean for the series? First and foremost, it means the Landry women's story isn't over yet, not by a long shot. Their journey is going to keep unfolding, and there's still a whole lot to unpack about their time-traveling abilities and how all the pieces of their family history fit together. One thing that's been a bit of a concern for fans is whether The Way Home will stay on traditional broadcast television. Before the 3rd season aired, Hallmark briefly floated the idea of making the show a Hallmark Plus exclusive, which didn't sit well with a bunch of longtime viewers. After some backlash, they backed off and decided to offer it on both streaming and regular TV. So now that the renewal announcement came straight from Hallmark Channel's main platform, it looks like they're planning to keep it on the airwaves, at least for the time being. And while Hallmark is mostly known for its seasonal rom-coms, especially during Christmas, they've managed to build up a solid collection of summer love stories too. But The Way Home is a different kind of project. It doesn't rely on just romance or small-town charm. It combines deep emotional storytelling with something more fantastical. That's part of what makes it stand out on the network. When it comes to structure, The Way Home has a habit of kicking off each new season with some kind of time jump. And considering how Season 3 is ending, there's a good chance Season 4 will do the same. The finale's title, If You Could Read My Mind, already suggests something emotional and reflective, possibly with a surprise or two. If the last episode throws in a twist, Season 4 might open right in the middle of the fallout, only to rewind and show us how everything unfolded. It's a storytelling trick the show's used before, and it works especially well in a series that plays with time. The show's lore has only gotten richer with each season, especially since they revealed that Colton, Dell's late husband, also had the ability to time travel. That bombshell alone opens up a bunch of new doors. Season 4 could explore even more about who in the Landry family has the ability to travel through time and what that really means for their past and future. Looking at the big picture, The Way Home has carved out a unique space for itself. It doesn't just rely on being a Hallmark show, it goes deeper than the usual fare. Led by Andie MacDowell, the series brings together themes like love, grief, family tension, and healing, all set against the warm, picturesque backdrop of a small Canadian town. But it also layers in fantasy and mystery, which gives it a different kind of emotional depth. While a lot of people compare it to shows like Outlander because of the time travel aspect, The Way Home really does its own thing. It's not just about the romance or historical settings, it's about reconciling the past and finding peace in the present. When Season 3 aired its final episode, fans had high hopes, and the show definitely delivered. The finale hit hard emotionally, especially when Dell traveled back in time and saw her own wedding to Colton. And then in the present, Alice had a heartfelt moment with an older version of Colton, which tugged on everyone's heartstrings. These kinds of moments are what the show does best, blending the surreal with the deeply personal. But as always with this show, the finale didn't wrap up everything neatly. It left fans with even more questions, and that's just part of the fun. Throughout Season 3, there were a ton of theories flying around. Some people were absolutely convinced that young Dell had been pregnant after her first date with Colton, especially since she got sick on the boat and then again in his truck. Add in the fact that her parents mysteriously sent him away to a small town, and it really seemed like something shady was going on. That theory gained so much traction online that the show's creators, Heather Conkie and Alexandra Clarke, eventually addressed it directly. In an interview with TV Line, they cleared the air, saying the pregnancy theory was completely off base. In fact, Clarke admitted it was never something they'd even thought about during the writing process. She even laughed about it, adding a lighthearted, "Sorry about that," while Conkie said she couldn't believe how far the idea had gone. So for now, that particular mystery is off the table, but it just shows how deeply fans are invested in every little detail. Despite how beloved the show is, there were some worries about its future, especially because the ratings started to dip a bit during Season 3. Some fans even started a change.org petition to help get the show renewed. The creators have since said that they were touched by the support, and it seems like the petition may have made a difference. Now, with Season 4 officially confirmed, there's a renewed sense of hope, not just for the show, but for Hallmark as a whole. Because even though Hallmark has been going through some ups and downs as a network, The Way Home has remained a bright spot. It's one of those rare shows that manages to feel cozy and meaningful all at once. It gives viewers a chance to reflect on life, family, and the idea of changing the past, even when you know you can't always fix everything. Looking ahead to Season 4, there's so much to be excited about. Now that the world of the show has expanded to include more complex time travel and deeper emotional stakes, there's plenty of room for new plot lines. The writers have a bunch of opportunities to dive into things like how the time travel ability gets passed down in the family, what secrets are still hidden in the past, and whether certain events are meant to happen no matter what. And of course, fans are also hoping to see more of the characters they've grown to love. Alice in particular has had a fascinating arc, going from a typical teen to someone deeply involved in the lives of her ancestors. Kat continues to struggle with balancing motherhood, grief, and her own identity, while Dell's backstory still has a few blank spots that need filling in. So even though we have to wait until 2026 for Season 4 to premiere, it's comforting to know it's officially happening. Until then, fans can rewatch the first 3 seasons, revisit their favorite theories, and keep speculating about what time period the Landrys will visit next. One thing's for sure, this show isn't done surprising us, and honestly, that's what keeps The Way Home special. It's not just about time travel or romantic drama, it's about finding your way back to the people who matter, even when the path is messy, complicated, and completely unexpected. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.